All right, so for today's deep dive, we're tackling what is probably the fiercest policy debate in the world right now. Lethal autonomous weapon systems, LOWS.
Yep. And our mission is really to cut through the noise on this one.
We want to unpack the core disagreements between those pushing for an outright ban and those who think, regulation is the way to go.
And what's really striking, and what you should know right away, is how much both sides actually agree on.
Right.
They all see the genuine risks. I mean, things like unintended consequences, how fast this could all escalate, and they even agree the black box problem with AI is a real technical challenge.
So everyone agrees the stakes are incredibly high.
Hmm.
Let's start with the case for a ban for prohibition. The foundation seems to be this idea of an accountability gap.
That's the moral core of it, yes. If a machine makes the decision to kill autonomously, who is responsible?
Who do you blame?
Exactly. It just shatters the whole chain of human responsibility, and that's, the bedrock of international humanitarian law.
Okay, so the legal argument is shaky. But what about the strategic risk? I keep hearing this term, unstable equilibrium.
And that is the absolute core fear for the pro-ban side. An unstable equilibrium just means that any regulation, say one that requires meaningful human control, is doomed to fail.
Why? Because of the pressure to win.
The competitive pressure for speed is just too intense. Nations will always be tempted to shorten the decision loops, to shave off seconds, until human oversight becomes, well, basically a fiction.
And that's how you get to flash wars, conflict that just erupts and escalates way faster than any human could, pull the plug.
That's the nightmare scenario. So the solution, they say, is to build a powerful normative barrier now.
A bright line.
A bright line. Create a powerful international norm before this technology is normalized. Make it politically and economically toxic to defect.
Okay. But then the con ban side, they flip the script completely on this. They start with this really unsettling idea, the paradoxical safety argument.
It is unsettling. The idea that a machine might be more ethical than a human soldier.
How?
Because it doesn't have human emotions. It doesn't feel fear or rage nor a desire for revenge. The very things that drive so many battlefield atrocities, it just applies targeting rules coldly, consistently.
And then there's the money. The cost efficiencies are huge, but it feels like it's more than that. It's a fundamental shift.
It is. We saw that data on an F-35 pilot, right?
Yeah.
The lifetime cost is over $10 million. Law and W's basically removes that massive ongoing human cost.
So defense spending becomes less about operational costs and more of a huge upfront R&D investment.
And on the technical side, they push back hard on the black box idea. They say, look, we're working on it. This is why DARPA started the Explainable AI, or XAI program, way back in 2017.
To make the machine's decisions traceable.
Exactly. To build systems where a human can actually audit the how and the why of an algorithmic decision.
Which leads directly to the proliferation argument, I suppose. Unlike nukes, this stuff is built on commercial tech. It's dual-use hardware and software. We've already seen it. The Turkish Kargu 2 drone reportedly operating autonomously in Libya back in 2020. A ban, they argue, only ties the hands of nations that follow the rules.
And it sees influence to actors who just don't care about international law.
Right, so you're left with this critical tension.
The pro-ban side is convinced that strategic utility, that relentless need for an edge, will always, always crush any regulation you put in place.
While the con-ban side insists that engagement is the only path forward, that regulated development with safety standards like we have in, say, aviation, that's the only way to shape where this goes.
Because exclusion just leads to chaos, but engagement lets you keep some influence.
Exactly.
So the whole debate really hinges on a big empirical question for you to think about. Do you believe nations prioritize short-term strategic gain, which would mean they cheat on a ban? Or do they prioritize long-term stability, which might mean regulation could actually work?
And here's the final thought to leave you with. What if explainable AI actually works? What if, in the next decade, we solve the verification problem and every decision a machine makes is completely transparent?
Would the ethical argument for a ban just collapse?
It might, which makes the timing of all this, what we decide right now, so incredibly critical.